Hey, Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club members, are you ready to take your crypto game to the next level? Well, buckle up because we've got something huge for you. As a member of the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, you're already part of the future of finance. But what if you could stack even more Bitcoin without waiting? That's right. We're talking about exclusive loans designed just for you. Through the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, you can apply for a fast member-only loan. Use the cash to buy Bitcoin right now while the market's hot, and watch your stack grow as the revolution unfolds. It's simple. Call us, get approved, and turn that loan into Bitcoin. Pay it back on your terms while you HODL like a pro. Why wait for the moon when you can fuel the rocket yourself? This isn't just a loan, it's your ticket to owning more of the future. And because you're part of our tight-knit community, you get VIP access to rates and support outsiders can only dream of. So, what are you waiting for? Grab your phone and call or text 941-413-6920 to apply now and start stacking SATs today. The Bitcoin revolution waits for no one, especially not you. Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where members don't just HODL, we build. See you on the blockchain.
I have to admit, that is the worst ad I ever created. And that was about a year ago with AI that is now a year old. Yeah, I love the HODL. HODL, everybody. HODL. Okay, welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. It is Monday, and apparently we had so much snow that Trump no longer wants Greenland. He said, no, we're good on snow. We have hit our snow limit, so we have put a hold on Greenland until the snow melts. See, guys, let's talk about Greenland real quick. I have a theory. Let me run this by you. I have a theory that Greenland is the new Australia. And let me explain. Australia was originally a place where they sent criminals. I have a theory that Greenland will be the Siberia of America. That all of the criminals, the political and the elite criminals, will be sent to Greenland to work and actually bring up our rare earth elements that we need. Exactly. It's going to be a new penal colony. And this is so Trump, if you think about it. You're like, I want Greenland. I want Greenland. They're like, no, you can't have Greenland. Greenland's ours. Oh, 51,000 people who live in Greenland. Now, we also have to remember how large Greenland is. Greenland is larger than Texas. Texas, at one point, was its own republic, its own little country. There's going to be some interesting rollouts because remember, we have a quote unquote prison in Cuba. That's where we took all of our CIA assets out of Afghanistan. We created Al Qaeda. Then once we no longer needed them, they were our enemy, and then we took them to Guantanamo Bay. So Greenland is going to be a prison. Mark my words, there will be a prison in Greenland. And it will be a working prison. It isn't going to be a, hey, let's play fucking Nintendo all day, hot tubs. No. This is going to be a kind of like what Russia has, where they're like, oh, you broke the law. Now we're going to send you up and we're going to make you live on a fucking ice cube. Enjoy. And that's what I think Trump's plan is with Greenland. It absolutely makes sense. Why wouldn't you? Because think about it. Let's really dive in here. All right. Trump says, oh, we need Greenland for strategic national security, which means he plans on, and mind you, we already have little protection rockets and shit up there. Now, hypothetically, if someone, say Russia or China, say they blow up Greenland, say they're like, we need to wipe out Greenland because of whatever, then we wipe out the criminals if they wipe out Greenland. Because a lot of the criminals that we are going to put on Greenland are agents of the people that would be actually blowing up Greenland. It makes absolute sense to me. It's like, well, we will put a prison on Greenland, and we are going to send Antifa and all of our good Antifa friends up to Greenland. That way, if someone blows up Greenland, yeah, we lose a little land, but it's a win-win in the end. I'm just saying, hypothetically, throwing it out there. All right. I went yesterday to our location in West Palm Beach because it's almost wrapped up and we are putting the finishing touches on the location, and we walked through it, and I want you guys to see what it looks like right now. Hang on 1 second. I got to share a screen. Window. There we go. Share. Let me pull this up. Check out this location. This is our, oh, here, let me Yeah, this place is gorgeous. I love how it looks. Look at that. That thing is badass, guys. Badass. And this is one of our front offices right here. And we got such a good deal on all of the chandelier, all of the furniture, and of course, we had to have one bright orange wall. That is the Bitcoin wall. This is such an amazing. Hang on one second. There we go. This is such an amazing. Just how it's laid out is perfect, and and we've already had. All right. Hang on one second. All right, we've already had people walk in and go like, wow, what are you guys even doing here? I mean, what is this Bitcoin private key capital and all this other stuff? That whole area is just prime for the Bitcoin, because remember, guys, this is, hang on, let me close this up. There we go. We'll move this. There we go. All right. We should have our soft opening probably on the 5th, because I want it all exactly. We are taking over. It's this is, if you look at what happened at the World Economic Forum, if you saw what Brian Armstrong, he destroyed a central banker on stage. He destroyed that guy. He was like, well, people like the reliability of the central banks. They like that the central banks have control of the market. Really? All right? Really? This is absolutely amazing. This is where all of this is going. We have locations all over the country, and that's what we were building for right now. While everyone else is just rolling out, remember, Wells Fargo announced they are moving their investment headquarters to West Palm Beach. Yeah, they said they should have it open in about 2 years. Exactly. Yeah, it's the old system is dying. The old system is dying. All right. Holy crap, $112 silver. Yes. Guys, gold and silver, they are the signal that the old system is dying. It's done. Even the WEF, World Economic Forum, they know globalism is done. And at the heart of globalism is the global banks. They're toast. They can't control the gold or the silver price. This is one of the best, all right? This is one of the absolute best times in human history. This is what we have wanted. This is what we have prayed for. This is the end of the globalist system that we are seeing right now. And we are at the heart of it, guys. At the heart of it. BlackRock, just this morning, right? BlackRock, just this morning, announced they are launching another ETF for their high net worth people. Let me say that again. This is a new ETF for the Bitcoin that is solely for high net worth investments. That means huge trading houses. Now, let me explain what this is. The new ETF is not going to purchase the Bitcoin. What it's going to purchase is the shares of the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF. This is their second layer on top of their existing ETF. So this layer, all of the trading volume will happen on this new layer. This is for institutions. This is for trading institutions. So what will happen is this is what BlackRock does. This is what BlackRock does is now this layer, this large, and it's going to be large, guys. It's going to be huge. This will actually buy shares of the original ETF and then trade those shares on future contracts. This is another layer of how, see, BlackRock all they know is how to monetize trading. That's it. They don't make the money off of the asset. They make the money off of the trading of the asset. We have a question. Are y'all going to store gold and silver in that vault and offer loans against it like Bitcoin? We can absolutely do that. We can absolutely do that. Now, I need to have our people look at it. I have no idea how that works in that area, but if there's a way, absolutely, because it's collateral. That's what makes this so revolutionary. That's why it's so important that we bought the credit union. Now we own a credit union, and now we have all of our locations, and now we have a network of locations that can offer wealth management. We are a truly crypto and the Bitcoin wealth management organization where we can help you get loans on houses. We can help you get loans on all of this through our credit union. And each one of our clubs, we are rolling them out as a wealth management and education information hubs. We, for those of you who have heard of it, right, we have like an A.G. Edwards. For those of you who are old enough, that every area had an A.G. Edwards location, where you had an A.G. Edwards person who helped you. That's what we're doing, because we have access to all of these friggin' networks for all of the products that is being built on top of Bitcoin. Exactly. Edward Jones, Edward D. Jones, Wolverine Peptides. What's up, Sean? How you doing, brother? Yeah, this is the new system using the new assets and gold and silver. Because we remember, gold, silver, and the Bitcoin are part of the new system. It's real assets, not paper assets. Real limited supply assets. Now, out of all of those, which one is the best? Of course, it's Bitcoin, because gold and silver, they're physical. So if you want gold coins, you got to go out and you got to buy them. You got to wait for them to ship you. With the Bitcoin, it's instantaneous. Receiving the Bitcoin is the receipt of receiving the Bitcoin. It's the blockchain. And that's where this is all going. And everyone watching this should be fucking ecstatic, because this is the old system dying. This is us, right? Yeah. Great point, Jim. A room full of gold and silver, or a thumb drive of your BTC. Yeah. But remember, this is a generational transition. I have friends who are older than me who still listen to cassette tapes, and they enjoy them. Gold and silver are not going away, especially over in the East. If you look at gold and silver here in America, it isn't very popular, right? Except for like jewelry. There's not that many people who hold gold and silver as a monetary item. Now, over in India, over in China, over in the East, completely different, all right? Completely. This is something else I want you guys to realize. This is a wealth transfer. This is a wealth transfer to a certain group that has a certain mindset. If you own gold and you own silver, you have a certain mindset. And the wealth of the old system is being pushed into gold and silver. And pretty soon move in also on the Bitcoin, because this is incredible. This is absolutely incredible and wonderful. And this is the revolution we've all wanted. This is what we have all prayed for. I mean, hang on one second. I want to pull this up real quick. All right. All right. Hang on one second. You have got to see this. Where Brian Armstrong just devastates the the World Economic Forum. Let's see this here. Yeah, hang on one second. Hang on a second. I got to pull it. Brian totally destroys them. All right, share screen. Share. Let me pull this up. Add to stage and move me down here. Shift.
Governor, you have to address this. Is the euro in danger from a Bitcoin standard?
No, I'm a bit skeptical, Brian. Sorry to say it about this idea of the Bitcoin standard. We left the gold standard, but the gold was only a technical mean. What is important is what you say, Bert, that monetary policy and money is part of sovereignty. And we live in democracies, and I think the public role is key. And if we lose that, really you lose a key function of democracy. That said, I always keep repeating that money, as long as it exists for centuries, has been a public-private partnership. You need a public anchor, whatever its form is. Remember, and silver and gold were sovereign assets, so it was on the public side. And then you had banknotes, and you will have CBDC. But anyway, the most important part of payments is in the private sphere, and this is the development of tokenized private money. But this tokenized private money must be regulated to inspire trust, confidence.
It's fascinating that you say that. Brian, you mentioned a complementary role that you could play.
So I think that crypto is very good for fiat currencies. It's very good. Bitcoin is like good as a check and balance on deficit spending, because when there is a lack of trust, or people, you know, from like in a US context, if people are worried about inflation, or maybe in places like Argentina or Turkey or Nigeria, they are going to flee to the thing that they believe is going to store value more. So I think in general, it's going to be very complementary. And like you said, I think it comes down to trust. And so if fiat currencies can maintain trust and not have, you know, the money printer kind of debasing everybody, then they'll survive. But if countries that, you know, have bad behavior on that dimension, Bitcoin doesn't have a money printer. The supply is fixed, and people will go to it in times of uncertainty, kind of like they did with gold.
The guarantee for trust is independence on central bank side. And we have a core mandate, and we are accountable to that. But sorry to say that I trust more independent central banks with a democratic mandate than private issuers of Bitcoin, which have a very useful role. But
Bitcoin is a decentralized protocol. There's actually no issuer of it. So that's in the sense that central banks have independence. Bitcoin is even more independent. There's no country or company or individual who controls it in the world. And so anyway, I think it's a healthy competition, because because if people can decide which one they trust more, and I think it's actually the greatest accountability mechanism on deficit spending.
Bill?
Damn. Basically told him, like, look, no one trusts you. That's basically what he said. Is, sorry guys, no one really trusts you. And it's true. He's like, I trust the independence of the central bank. Yeah, no one else does. No one else trusts the independence of the central banks. See, this is what the reason that he's laughing as he's saying it, he's trying to make it a joke, like, oh, this little Bitcoin standard thing, it has no power over the central banks. It is, I do not trust. Well, the reason he doesn't trust the Bitcoin is because he and his friends, they can't control it. See, they trust what they can control. That's it. He should replace the word I trust central banks to I control, or we control. control the central banks. This is the mindset difference. This is what makes us completely different from these guys. They only can exist in an environment that they can manipulate, and they have the balls to basically say, well, we can manipulate anything. That's our job. Our job is to manipulate things. Our job is to control. Our job is to be independent. And listen to how he brags, like, well, we went off the gold standard. Yeah, and you went to a what? A central bank standard, which means there is no standard. If it's a standard, it means it is the best. It is a predictable outcome. It is a predictable system. Look at the gold. If you didn't have gold, you didn't have nothing. And with the Bitcoin, if you don't have the Bitcoin, you ain't got nothing. Because each of those are predictable. Those are each, if you own an ounce of gold, as long as it's real gold, then you have a predictable physical their gold can only be gold. The Bitcoin can only be the Bitcoin. The fiat can be anything you want. Why do you think they redesign the dollar? Why do you think they change the image, the illusion on the dollar? Because they have to change it so that they watch out for the counterfeiters. You can't counterfeit the Bitcoin. You can't. It's either the Bitcoin or it's not. You don't have to change the logo. All right. This is where we're going, because exactly what Brian said is it's a protocol. You can't change it. I can't change it. No one can change it. It actually takes a consensus of individuals with sovereignty to change the protocol. And if they ever try to change it and hard fork it, go ahead. No one will use. It's exactly what happened with fucking Bitcoin Cash. They hard forked it. That way went fucking Bitcoin Cash. The original Bitcoin went this way. And voila. Everyone moved from the Bitcoin Cash and just kept using the Bitcoin. This is what real monetary currency should look like. And we're at another split. We are hard forking off of the central bank protocol into the real money protocol. That's why gold and silver is going up. That's why in the last 10 years, the price of friggin' Bitcoin has ran up thousands of % just in the last fucking 10 years. Why? Because we are hard forking off of the central bank fiat system. It's us. We are the nodes of any system. And we are switching our protocols from a central bank node to a gold, silver, Bitcoin node. And more people will switch. They're switching every day. That's why everyone realizes what the Bitcoin is. It is the nuclear weapon of monetary systems. It is the nuclear weapon of monetary systems. The reason that the central banks don't like it, it is poo-poo, is, hang on a second. Is they can't control it. And if they can't control it, they don't like it. It is not relevant because we cannot manipulate it. Guys, the system is crooked. The system is there to save the system. All right? Let's look back. A few years ago, there was a little stock called GameStop. It went huge, and it liquidated, or it should have liquidated, a lot of shorts, which were high net worth people that were trying to destroy the company. So a lot of people rallied, and they were friggin' buying shares like it was going out of style. Well, what happened? What happened whenever the major players, the banks and the VCs and all of the very wealthy people, what happened when they were losing? Guess what? They shut it off on Robinhood and said you could only sell, you couldn't buy. That's the system. As soon as they are losing, they shut the game down. They slap the fucking chessboard. They are your friend when you were younger and you were playing fucking Monopoly. As soon as they're losing, they're slapping the table. Fuck this game. I hate this game. I'm losing. I'm gonna ruin the game. That's the system. That's New York. That's Washington, D.C. That's what's going on up in, think about this, guys. There were no issues up in Minnesota with riots and all of this shit until we found out there was a lot of fraud. And all of a sudden we're realizing there's a lot of fraud up in Minnesota, and that the governor's involved. Remember, the governor is not going to run for office again. Why? Because of all the fraud. There's so much fraud that he and people associated with him are involved with, that all of a sudden, a month later, look at this, riots and protests, because they're trying to shift the focus off the fraud. That's the system. That is the system who live off the system. That's what they do whenever you close the system. Whenever you say, oh, no more fraud, they're like, wait a second. You can't cut off our fraud. We rely on our fraud. We have created a system of fraud. And there's just too many people involved. You can't shut the fraud down. It's what happened over in Afghanistan. Remember, this is absolutely true. over in Afghanistan, Al-Qaeda was closing off and shutting down all of the poppy seed farms. They were getting rid of the drugs in Afghanistan. And then we brought them some freedom. We're like, we need to liberate these motherfuckers. And what's the first thing we do when we get there? We protect the poppy fields. We ramp up the drug trade. Our military was protecting, because they said, well, if you shut all the poppy seeds off, that will destroy the Afghanistan economy. Wait, so the economy is actually built on drugs? Yes, so we can't shut it down. The economy will collapse. That's Minnesota. Minnesota is saying you can't shut the fraud down. We will collapse. So we are going to revolt against those who are shutting down our criminal system. That's what's going on up in Massachusetts. It has nothing to do with all these people like my fellow brother Minnesotians or whatever the fuck they call themselves. All these people, all these illegal aliens, we shall stand for their rights. You also have to remember that Minnesota, in the area they're at, that is communist central, right? That area was, it's just like St. Louis. It's just like California. Liberals, that's why liberals and the progressives grow the government, because the government is then the money center of the liberal and progressives organization. And they're using our own tax money to destroy our country. That's what's really pissing them off. Is they're like, wait, the fraud, we have fraud so we can bring down America. That's their goal, folks. They don't give a flying fuck about these illegal aliens except that they vote Democrat. And this is what happens when you create a progressive system in education, universities, government. I mean, we have a financial system that was educated on Keynesian economics. Keynesian economics is unlimited money printing. It can never resolve itself. You can never pay off your debt because your money is the debt. The system is reliant on the debt. The U.S. treasuries are futures for our labor. That's what a treasury bond is. It's the U.S. federal government will repay this bond using the labor of future Americans. That's what a treasury bond is. It's a slavery bond. That's what it is. It isn't a treasury bond, it's a slavery bond. They are reaching into the future for days you haven't even worked yet, that your children haven't even worked yet. And they're reaching into the future, and they are removing that wealth from the future and bringing it to the present. That's what a bond is. That's what a treasury bond is. It's a slavery bond that is linked with your future labor. So they already have taxes from you that they haven't even robbed you. of yet. Let that sink in. All right. Imagine if there was a, let's call it a pickpocket futures market, right? Where everyone who is a robber, everyone who robs purses, say there was a purse robbery future that robbers could go in and sell a futures on future purses that they plan on robbing. This is the same thing. It's just the robbers are our elected officials. Hang on a minute. We have the Bitcoin allows the Ponzi to continue and the same people stay in control. I completely disagree. Completely disagree. Right now, we're in a transition, not only economically, but culturally. We are in a cultural transition where government is not popular at all, anywhere, because the people are realizing the problem is government. It is government. This is the transition, and that's why we've launched our clubs, because yes, we're at war, right? We're at war with the old system. And if we do not create the new system, yes, the same people are in control. Yes, but we, and when I say we, I mean me, our clubs, our resort, our credit union, we are creating the new system. So is Brian Armstrong. So is Michael Saylor. So is the Winklevoss twins. We are creating the new system that the old system's going to roll into. So is Tether. We're creating the new system. And it's important that we do it, because if we don't do it, then those who own the old system will do it. And that is why we have to build it. We, the people, have to be the people that run the new system. If we don't, it's exactly what he just said. If we don't create the new system, we'll just live in the system that they create for us. And the key is that the Bitcoin is the system. It is the heartbeat of the new system. Tick tock, next block. Tick tock, next block. A system is only as good as its reliability. If you had a ship that the holding water outside of the ship wasn't reliable, and you had leaks in the ship, it isn't a good ship. The Bitcoin doesn't have any leaks, like Michael Saylor has said. It is perfectly engineered money. Perfectly engineered money. Look at how it was created. Look at how it is slowly distributed over time. It's a revolution without blood. The reason the very last fraction of fucking Bitcoin that will ever be produced is in 2,140, I think, around there. 2,140. That's more than 100 years away. That is the revolutionary time. It actually gives humans enough time to adjust to the new system. That's why it has such a long rollout, because it allows humans and old systems and old companies and all it allows us wipe out the bullshit and slowly bring in the new system so that society doesn't collapse. It's fundamental to realize we have 5, 10, 15, 20 years of this war of the old system. And they're bringing on new weapons like AI and all this other shit. Right? The technology of AI is wonderful. Just like the technology of a handgun is wonderful. It's who holds it that matters. AI is a blessing if you use it for good. AI is evil if you use it for evil. This is a slow moving revolution, but we're about to hit a very pivotal point in the revolution. Guys, this year, monetarily is going to be awesome. People who own silver, people who own gold, people who own friggin' Bitcoin, they're going to be great. It's everyone else who still lives in the old system. That's the key. And our obligation is to create the new system, to educate as many people on the new system as possible. Bingo. Bottom line, nothing has changed from what's coming out of the White House. PTC is on its own. It always was, because even the White House, the Bitcoin doesn't give a fuck about the White House. The Bitcoin doesn't know that the White House or the US government holds it. It's a protocol. It doesn't give a shit if Russia holds it. It doesn't give a shit if you hold it. It's a protocol. It doesn't need the White House. The White House needs the Bitcoin. Why do you think they're accumulating it? Because they need it. America needs the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin doesn't need America. It's global. It's decentralized. It doesn't even know there is a fucking America. It's a protocol. Tick-tock, next block. Those who want to survive and prosper will adopt the Bitcoin. They're not helping the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin's helping them. It is the lifeboat. Because think about it, guys. If you're on a lifeboat, you're not saving the lifeboat. No. The vote is saving you. It's just the same thing with governments and companies. Look at Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor's company needed the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin didn't need Michael Saylor's company. That fucking Bitcoin wasn't sitting there like, oh, I hope MicroStrategy buys me. We have breaking news. Earthquake in Japan at the moment. Are you talking a real earthquake, or are you actually talking about the Japanese bonds? They're both pretty fucking destructive. Well, our prayers go out to our friends in Japan. I think over in Japan. Yeah, no, it's a bond earthquake. All right, guys and gals, everyone have a great day. I love it, you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, and this week for all of our club members who are members of our clubs on our television channel on our website for club members, I will be doing a history show this week. And let's just say it's basically going to be on Andrew Jackson and how he got rid of the federal or the American central bank of his time. So everyone have a great day. I love you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
Tired of jumping through hoops to buy Bitcoin? Frustrated with endless paperwork and invasive identity checks? Introducing Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club's loan program. No KYC required. Say goodbye to the hassle and hello to freedom. Borrow up to $250,000 at as little as 7% interest. Join our community and take control of your financial future. Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where privacy meets opportunity. Connect with like-minded individuals and grow together. Visit us today and unlock your $250,000 Bitcoin loan. Your journey to financial freedom starts here.